What's good, YouTube fam? I'm just showing off my, well, I guess finished product for this bike. This is my first e-bike build, and it did start its life off as a Amazon build, or kit from Pexmore, and I did add some things to it when it came out of the box. It did have the disc brakes, but they were mechanical. So I did go ahead and put on hydraulic disc brakes, which I highly recommend to anybody because they work so much better. I added the little fender things here on the front and the rear because a few nights I came home from work. I ride this to work every day, literally every day this year. I've been riding this bicycle to and from work. It's got a couple times I got stuck in the rain or after the rain, and so I'm riding, getting my back all wet, so I put these fenders on, or whatever you call them, and that definitely works because, you know, keeps the water from spraying up on you while you're riding. Definitely improvement there. Got me these handlebars because the ones that came on it, they were like just straight bars, so the position when you're riding, you're kind of like leaning forward the whole time, putting weight on your elbows, and my elbows are wore out because I'm old and shitty now. But yeah, there you go. Got the new handlebars. These got a big wide grip to them, super comfortable when you're riding. Of course, got to have a phone mount. Put some rear view mirrors on here, but they didn't really want to fit facing upward, so I mounted them like upside down like that, which definitely works. I don't rely on them. They're more for a little extra input when I'm riding. I can kind of get the sense of what's coming up behind me. I can see if there's a lot of lights coming up behind me or whatnot. And if I do look down at them, I can definitely see everything. They got a wide view, so you'd probably be sitting somewhere like, well, that's not working. There's nothing to look at. There we go. Yeah, so you can see when you're in the riding position, that's pretty much how you'd be looking down at them, and it does give a nice kind of view of what's going on behind you. Helps with awareness. So I think that's pretty much all the stuff I did add to this. Oh no, I added a seat because the seat that came on it wasn't terribly uncomfortable, but it was not as comfortable as this one that I put on here. Everything else, oh yeah, I did change the front wheel. Got a wheel from whatever that brand is right there. I don't know, it was on sale for like 40% off. So normally that wheel is like $100, and I got it for like 60. The wheel that came with the bike was kind of tacoed. It was kind of bent out of the box. I did contact the seller about that, and they sent me back like $100. So I'm into this build for about $730. It did come with the kit. It came with this 48 volt, 20 amp hour, and a 30 amp controller right there, that little box sitting on the back. So the next build I'll be looking at is gonna be like an 80 amp controller, and I'm gonna do like a 72 volt kit, or 72 volt battery. And I'm also gonna get rid of this hardtail and get a full suspension mountain bike frame. So I'm not getting like a bomber or whatever. A lot of people go with like the like a Sauron kind of frame, but the mountain bike frame is significantly lighter, and I don't weigh much. So this bike actually, its top speed is around 27, 30, on a fresh pack it's like 30, and then on the way home from work I'll be dropping down a couple miles an hour. I'll be doing like 27 on the way back home. After I put 6-10 miles on the battery pack, it'll start slowing down a little bit, but it'll hold that 27 miles an hour for a long time. I'm not even sure how far I've driven max on this on the charge. Probably about 30 miles. and on the way back it was still running, you know, close to that 27 miles an hour with that 20 amp hour battery pack at 48 volts. Now full charge, it's more closer to like 57 volts or something, 58 volts when it's fully charged. So right now it's about 52, what is it at now? 52 and a half volts. And that's after about 10 miles of riding. So you can kind of gauge the range. I would say, you know, probably 40, 50 miles before it really starts feeling like I'm going to have to pedal it. And I don't like to pedal. I don't really pedal much at all. It's got a lot of torque. Like I was saying, I don't weigh much, and I think this motor, the hub motor, is rated for like 500 watts. But I did turn that 30 amp controller all the way up and disabled the speed limiter. So that means it's going to push all the 30 amps, what it can pull out of that battery pack. And it'll get up to its top speed in a couple of seconds, especially with me on it, because I weigh like 130 pounds, so I don't weigh very much. That's the idea for the next build. I'll be doing a 72 volt. I keep going back and forth on that. I'm thinking, you know, 72 volts because it's like cheaper. I mean, I'd love to go with the 90 something, whatever it is, 90, would it be 96 volt pack, but that might be a little bit extreme for the build that the frame I'm gonna put it on. So I'm thinking with the 72 volt 3000 watt hub, you can push 6,000, you know, to those hubs. Like this one, I said this one's pushing 30 amps at 48 volts. That's 1440 watts, and that's at 48 volts. When this is fully charged, it's more like 1500, 1600 watts going to that 500 watt hub. So it all comes down to, if you weigh too much, if you're too heavy, you know, if you're going up hills, where I live, it's pretty flat. But if you're putting a lot of load into that motor, you know, maybe that'll be too, you'll be hurting the motor at some point, or the controller will be getting real hot. I mean, my experience only comes from like 10th scale RC stuff. So I did learn a lot about how the behavior between the motor and the controller, and how much power you're sending to, you know, I was running 3 cells on motors that were rated for 2 cell packs. And you can do that all day. You just got to make sure the gearing is correct, you know, that the winding of the motor isn't, you know, too high of a kV. That's what they would say for the, you know, RC stuff. It was rated kV, kilovolt. So you'd say if the motor was like, say, a 2000 kV motor versus a 4,000, that 4,000 is going to turn faster, but it's basically like you change the gear ratio. So it'll turn faster, but it will not be as torquey, or maybe it will be because you're going to feed it a lot of power anyway. So it's still going to have plenty of torque, but it's going to get hot. Like the trade-off is it's going to get too hot too quick. So for my speed runs, I would put like a lower kV motor and with a higher gear to it, so that the top speed would be higher. The motor's turning slower, but the gearing will make it, you know, make the power delivery to go into the wheel is going to make that wheel turn faster. But I don't know what this motor is. It's just whatever came with the kit. I know it's a 500, you know, because it says on there 48 volts, 500 watt. But I've been feeding it, you know, let's say average 1500 watts for the last 1,000 something miles. How many miles are on here? You can see my top speed ever was 37, but I don't think that's right. I think that was a glitch. So I've got 1,180 miles on this motor, and that was like the very first thing I did. I took it around the block, and then I came back and I put it up to, you know, it came out of the box at like 20 amps or something, or 17 amps. And I went ahead and just turned it as far as it would go, and, you know, just see what would happen. And it has not been complaining. It doesn't care about that. The motor doesn't get hot at all. I don't know about the controller because it's in that little plastic box, but it hasn't blown up yet, so I guess it's okay. I'll go ahead and end the video, and of course when I get done with my next build, I'll go ahead and make some videos about that, because that one's going to be the fun one. That one, my target speed is going to be around 50 miles an hour is kind of what I'm trying to get at. Keep up with traffic. All right, I'm going to go ahead and end the video. Y'all take care. Have a blessed night.